All right, here's the first step. I took walking around the boat. I've done a pretty good survey of the hull. I did find 4 or 5 spots that are concerning, but nothing that can't be fixed. All in all, it's a real good hull. You can see she's been out in the weather quite a while. I went underneath it. I looked at everything underneath. I see about 5, maybe 6 rivets that are discolored. A discolored rivet is a sure sign that it's one that has started to corrode and starting to leak. No cracks, no major holes anywhere in the hull. As you can see, the hull is actually pretty solid. I've looked around the entire boat, looked at all the rivets. All these look really good. 99% of the rivets in the bottom look really good. One surefire way to tell if a rivet is going to leak or is about to leak or if it's leaking, you can fill these boats with water. I suggest you fill them up a little bit. Don't fill them up to here. Fill them up just above your water line with the boat tilted up. That way you're only filling it up halfway. Let the boat fill up with water, check it for rivets that are leaking, mark them, and that way you can go back and fix them later. I'm not going to worry about doing any of that right now because I'm stripping this boat completely down to bare skin anyway. We'll worry about what rivets are leaking then. But this boat has styrofoam inside of it. I know it has styrofoam inside of it because a lot of these manufacturers put it in there, and it's the old pour style. The only problem with that pour style is it actually, eventually it does start soaking up water. This is an older boat from 1999. The stuff they used back then, it did have a tendency to fill up with water. Even the stuff they sell nowadays has a tendency to fill up with water. It has to be closed sail. Now this is closed sail, but it's not as high a poundage, so the sails aren't as strong and aren't as many. So what happens is they start to break down. Once they start breaking down, water gets in, water shrinks and contracts with the weather when it freezes. It opens the voids up a little bit more, water gets in a little bit more. That's how the process works. Once it starts getting in, it's just like a road or a highway. The water gets in, freezes, opens up a void. Next car drives across, collapses the void, water gets in it, freezes, opens up the void, next car hits it, the pothole keeps getting bigger. Same way with this styrofoam. That's exactly how the process works. Once it starts, it's almost impossible to stop. I'm going to tell you, I know this styrofoam is saturated. And I'm going to tell you how I know. I don't even have to take the skin off of it. Don't have to take the floor off of it. I can tell you exactly how I know. I'm in the Carolinas, around the Charlotte area. I've had this boat tilted up, nose up, where all the water could drain out of it. So there was no water draining out of the drain hole. Back here at the back, you could stick your finger in the hole. There was no water around the trap. So I know there was no water in this boat. We had 3 or 4 nights that it got down, literally almost got down to the teens. It was down in the 20s. We had 3 or 4 nights like that. During that time, any water that's in this boat is going to freeze. Well, the reason why I know that the styrofoam in here is saturated, once I moved it in my building, the temperatures got up around 50, 55 degrees, humidity's out the roof. I climbed up underneath this boat and I could literally slide my hand down the bottom of the boat and condensation went everywhere. What's happened is that water that's inside there is turned into ice, it's froze. So now this boat acts just like a glass. Now, sometimes you'll get condensation without the ice, but in this situation, I know it's ice. You can put your hand on the bottom of the boat where the condensation is and your hand will just almost freeze. But from about right here back, there was 2 bands of condensation. It was about 18 inches wide. That was literally just water dripping off of it. So that tells me right there that that styrofoam was full of water. It's done froze, turned into ice, and it's just like ice cubes sitting on the bottom of the boat. That's a good way you can actually get up underneath your boat. If you get up underneath it on a good humid day after we've had 5 or 6 days of super cold weather, and you know there's no water in your boat because you've had it tilted up, but you see these big patches of condensation, more likely it's big patches of ice that's inside the boat from the water freezing. That's just something you can look for. Not 100%, but I know on this one, it's 100% sure. So you think it's fine? That's crazy. That's why we get rid of this stuff.